When looking into Monark for my most anticipated games video for this year, I found myself becoming pretty excited about it. Part of this was because I love a good JRPG opening, and Monark's one with its fantastic opening song Nile really slams, and paired with it being a game about embracing your ego, I kept getting more curious about this concept as I looked into it. Because of this, I was very happy when a code for it arrived in my inbox, and while I'm still playing at around 15 hours in, there have been a bunch of things in it that have continued to keep me curious about it, from psychology tests that influence your personality stats, to the death cults that lead you to its battles, and with a story with characters with lots of layers to discover, it's a game I'm looking forward to continuing with. So before it comes out on the 22nd, I wanted to talk about why I'm really enjoying it so far, and why I'm looking forward to diving more and more into this world of ego and psychological thrills that continues to pique my curiosity. Before playing Monark, while I've been trying to keep in the dark about games I want to play as much as possible, I couldn't help but try the ego analysis quiz on its official website, as I used to love these kind of psychology quizzes. When I actually started playing Monark's first hours, I was pleasantly surprised to see a similar, if not the same quiz that's what you answer to get the initial stats of your ego, an ego that will determine certain items you can interact with, and is generally interesting to watch grow and change throughout the game. This also cements the ego-based premise of Monark as you arrive into its high school as the 8th Pact Bearer in an academy trapped by distortions and a madness-causing mist, with your job being to take down the other Pact Bearers, each representing a side of the ego or a 7th deadly sin, to stop them from using their powers and causing more distortions to try and get things back to normal. This is done with the partners you meet on the way, with Nozomi being one that some of you might have met in the demo, but as you progress, you'll have the opportunity to meet others, such as Ryotaro, who I just met in the next part of the story, and kinda like the more I got to know him, and the rest I've met proving that there's an interesting cost to find. You're also accompanied by Vanitas, the otherworldly mascot character that gives you plenty of advice, and your caring sister Chio, who often has to stay behind because her lungs are too weak to handle the mist. And with them and your ego to fight with in physical form, it's time to explore this world full of psychology quizzes and literal madness in this interesting take on a high school gone mad that is incredibly interesting to watch unfold. Once you're allowed to explore in Monark, its own kind of gameplay loop begins as it sets you off in its mist-filled school to try and find the source of the madness. As you play, you gradually unlock the school's floors that are covered in mist, with your job usually being to find a phone that will act as a gateway into the other world that will allow you to fight, and if you win, allow you to dissipate the mist and madness once more, at least in that area. This would be a fairly straightforward task if this was all there was to it. However, it's all the little things in between that make playing through Monark feel constantly interesting. Things like having to be careful of your madness increasing as you go through, the people on the floor who have succumbed to madness doing things like talking to lockers or saying nonsensical things, or noises from students trapped behind things make for an atmosphere that feels almost kind of like a horror game, so much so that I kinda want to try playing with the lights off. When it comes to battles, I wasn't sure what they'd be like as the trailer footage had been kind of vague, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that Monark features a unique tactical battle system that brings in its themes of ego and madness and uses them to make a system that's felt good to play with so far. There are two types of attacks to use in Monark, with one being regular skills that tend to deal less damage or take from your HP, or authorities that let you use your Pact Bearer skills, but these skills come at the cost of increasing your madness, and if you raise it to 100%, you're basically in a berserk state until you die, so the fun sense of balance makes battles feel really tactical in how much you have to consider risk and reward, and with all the different Pact Bearer skills that I'm slowly learning about and unlocking, is something I've enjoyed winning and losing in. What's also made it fun is the currency spirit in this game is how you level up, but it's also what you buy items with and what you can dismantle your unit's equipment into, and I also like that this requires you to be strategic too, as you could easily spend too much on healing items then have nothing to level up with, and vice versa, and it's this kind of different thinking that helps keep things strategic even in the battle prep stages. If you do make a mistake and see a game over, you can call up dungeons to redo them if you need to grind, but it would be boring to do the same battles again, so I was pleased to find that along the way, as you pick up notes and things that can add depth to each floor's unsettling story, you can also sometimes find notes with phone numbers on them that you can call up and fight. Just be careful to remember the number well or write it down to use it, as dialing the wrong number seems to lead to some pretty crazy battles. The times I have dialed these correctly, they've been level appropriate, and a good way to get spirit and equipment to break down, and the fun feeling of discovery when I pick one of these up is great, and I hope to find more as I explore, especially with some floors having locker codes codes that I still haven't been able to solve yet. Another thing you can come across on the field are more psychology quizzes that add to your psych ranks, which can eventually let you unlock certain crystals that are tied to other students' alter egos, but you need to have raised your own to certain levels before you can pick these up. The questions themselves are incredibly interesting, and they remind me a lot of the little quizzes I enjoyed doing in Doki Doki Universe when I first got my PS4, but with just a bit of a darker undertone. And whether you're doing them to gain specific stats or to check how your own ego pans out, reading the hows and whys of each answer is also very fascinating to do, along with the wealth of info hidden within its menus that kind of remind me of the memoirs of the dead I loved in Christa, but with a Caligula twist, as these bits of lore are often what you need to solve each dungeon to move forward. And with great music with shades of Caligula and Persona and a unique atmosphere in this one-of-a-kind school, all the unique parts of Monark have me excited to keep exploring it more, to learn more about its characters, its world, egos, and the things you can do in its system, and all these things together are still on top of the multiple endings I need to unlock that make for a fascinating world that I can't wait to discover more in. Monarch's blend of psychology, RPG mechanics, and thrilling atmosphere is more obvious than similar games with these ideas, but it's with embracing these things at the forefront that make it so interesting and have me excited to keep exploring more. I was especially impressed with the atmosphere it manages to keep in its world, with the change in it felt every time I entered one of its mist-filled zones or the more epic feeling battles that needed me to awaken my characters before they fell to madness. And as I continue to learn more about its systems, each puzzle or quiz I find is always interesting and well thought out, and knowing there's always more things like this to find keeps me excited to keep playing even over 15 hours in. It's one of the most unique things coming out this month and will be good for those who like games with a somewhat dark, introspective tone. So I hope to hear some of you guys picking it up on the 22nd and look forward to exploring it more myself and seeing where its 4 key characters will end up taking me as the story progresses in its fascinatingly mad world. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to try Monark in its demo or otherwise, and if you have, what did you think of it? You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below. Thank you to NIS for the code, and until next time, thank you, bye!